Maybe go like this.
I'm good.
See, welcome everyone. Over post. We start off with Health Services Committee.
Good evening, everybody. We will open up Health Services Committee meeting at 6:02 p.m. First resolution, authorizing contract, Greene County with Greene County Emergency Medical Systems, Inc.
Davis.
Davis?
True.
True. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed. And Luda? Yeah, against.
Is it two? Yes. Thank you. Right, next resolution, authorizing contract, Greene County with Greene County Emergency Medical Systems, Inc. for the town of Halcott.
Davis.
Davis?
O'Connell.
O'Connell? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing agreement, Greene County Public Health and Healthy Alliance Foundation, Inc., DBA Healthy Alliance. Lennon, Handel? All in favor?
Can I just ask a question about this?
You may.
Where did this come from, Healthy Alliance?
Healthy Alliance is an organization that has been providing social supports for members, Medicaid members in the Capital District and the greater region. It goes all the way up to the border of Canada, doesn't it? We happen to fall in the southern catchment area. And they are the ones who will be implementing this 1115 Medicaid waiver, for which we will be participating at no cost to us and being reimbursed for the services provided.
Are we adding additional staff members to do this work?
Nope, the staff we already have are already doing this. It's already being measured in our electronic record, and now we will get reimbursed for it.
And this is different than what social services is.
It is different than what social services is providing.
Thank you.
Welcome. Authorizing agreement, Greene County Public Health and Columbia County Community Healthcare Consortium, Community Health Needs Assessment, Community Health Improvement Plan.
Vera.
Vera,
Well.
O'Connell, and True. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Accepting minutes, Medical Professional Advisory Committee, April, May, and June, Q1, 2025.
Davis.
Davis, Handel, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Is there anything else to come before Health Services this evening?
Chairwoman Handel, question for, Ms. Churchill. We got a picture screenshot from some constituents about this vending machine from Community Action that's got the Narcan or whatever in it. Does that go through your department?
This vending machine did not go through our department. It was funded through MHA.
And Mental Health Association, Columbia Green County, did that one.
Yeah.
And it has test strips as well, I believe.
So essentially, we
That's
fund,
what they're doing.
so we fund,
Actual vending
We
machine
did-
for drugs like this?
No, to my knowledge, these vending machines are a way for people who need Narcan and test strips and any other device, harm reduction pieces of equipment to get them through a vending machine at all times of the day or night.
so if the funding is coming from Mental Health Association, we provide funding for them, so we're funding this machine.
Mental Health Association is an independent non-for-profit organization.
We do provide them funding. I'm not sure where that funding
Actually, we don't. They get passed through state aid.
is being approved here.
Well, because state aid comes through the LGU, which is through me, through my department, which of course, because the money has to come to the county and then go out to these other agencies. It's part of the contract. It's the function of the LGU.
Well, Jason, and, would you say your attack on whether it's mental health issues or drug issues, is it more time spent on just making sure they have Narcan and test strips, or is it based more on drug prevention? Or is it, where's the balance? Are we giving up on trying to prevent people from getting the drugs? Or And therefore, we're just making these, in Narcan completely accessible. So they can overdose as many times as they want and hit themselves with Narcan.
No, there's quite a bit of prevention efforts happening in the county as well. Twin County Recovery Services is the one who does most of the prevention. And I believe harm reduction is considered a form of prevention as well. And harm reduction is also supported by, all of it is evidence-based. All of it is supported by the research side. So whether it's prevention in schools, the actual prevention programs that are happening, or whether it's Narcan and test strips, these are things that are proven to help to be effective. It's not just random things that we're throwing out.
And that's to get somebody to stay alive. Then they get into treatment. They progress through treatment. They graduate from the meds and they go on to live enormously productive lives. You would not believe the people that have come to our clinic. You would not recognize them from the day they started to the day they left. Now they're working, raising families, parenting their children, off the DSS rolls, off CPS, all of those things. But they have to live to the day they decide this is the day.
Yeah.
And then they get in and then they progress.
I would personally like to say thank you because I've known drug addicts in my personal life that have overcome it good. And I think it's better to save a life than prevent saving a life. And it comes from every socioeconomic level, from here to there. And it's not just, and they're not bad people. And it's not a reason. And if that's what we have to do to save somebody's life, I'm all behind it. And if what's going on is what it takes, great. I'm for it. And I say, thank you.
Well, if those programs are successful, those should be front and center. Not, I guess.
Dead
A
person
picture.
can't go through a program. A dead person can't go through a
No,
program.
I didn't say that. You know,
I know, but I'm saying you
Just
gotta
telling you
save
that
their life so they can go through it,
If,
just
if,
like they
if
said.
that's success, that's what people wanna see is the successes. If you wanna call shooting throwing Narcan at somebody to prevent an overdose, or if they overdose, to prevent a death, okay, but I would think as much value should be put on the success of the treatment and them getting over the drug use and leading productive lives. I don't know about anyone else, but we really don't ever hear that part. And I think it's important. So, I mean, you hear the negative, we see the Narcan being used, and that seems to be front and center. Well, I would think that you want to show the success of, drug rehab or whatever, that helps these people lead productive lives.
We can definitely do that. We can provide that information.
Yeah, good part of the story.
Thanks, Patty.
You're welcome.
Can I just ask one other question I know we're building this community services, building in Cairo. Are all of our staff in that department back to work physically in the offices? They are.
Okay.
So there's nobody working from home.
Oh, no, but we have some people who work on schools.
Right. I understand that. Okay.
No, remote, like it was during COVID. No, nobody's doing remote.
We have some people that are on hybrid schedules that will work remote, part of the, but everyone's clinic based. But we are able to rotate out to some people.
So,
But that's all.
may I ask, why are they working hybrid?
So it originally started because of course, because of COVID, but then even when we were able to return to the building after COVID, there were still so many virtual sessions happening that our antiquated IT system, our computer system, wasn't able to handle that many streaming sessions at one time. So we actually couldn't accommodate all of that happening in the building. So we had to come up with a rotation schedule where some people were in the building and some people were continuing to work remotely. What we noticed in the meantime is that with the workforce shortage that is happening, across the whole industry, that we think that was one of the things that helped us retain our staff and attract some other staff, is that they had this hybrid schedule that they were in the office couple of days and able to work remotely. So but now it's at a point where sessions are, the requirement and the demand for virtual sessions is still steady. I mean, if it's not steady, sorry, it is still significant, but it is decreasing slowly over time. And the way it works is that we will only do those sessions, and we do them from the building too, or if people are working remotely, but they're only done clinically necessary. So it's not because a client doesn't want to come in or because staff member wants to work remotely or something like that. It's only done when there's a clinical need for that person to be seen remotely. So if they don't have transportation or other things like that.
So once the building is complete and the technology is all working is there intentions to have staff no longer working hybrid and being in the office full-time, even though they may have to handle something virtually with a client, but they're still doing it from the office, not from home or wherever else they may be?
I haven't actually thought that, we haven't gotten that far yet to actually figure that out, but I mean, in general, because the demand for it is slowly decreasing, we have certainly made space in the new building for everyone, assuming that at some point, maybe everyone's gonna be in the building all the time.
Well, it should be at, the supervisor and director's order, not what the employee wants to do.
Exactly, and that's the way it is now, yeah. And I can also show you that, one of the things that's unique about our work is that we're able to basically see what our staff are doing. So if they're in session, that session has to be documented, right? And there's timestamps on every keystroke in a medical record, or an electronic medical record.
Well, I think I think it comes down to, we're spending a lot of money on a brand new building.
Right.
That may not be fully staffed.
No, that's not true at all.
If they're gonna be working remotely, they're not in the office in a brand new building that we're spending millions of dollars.
It will be fully staffed.
Okay.
Yeah, but
And it's already, all of our staff are in the building.
again, you're telling me that we don't have anybody working from home. You're telling me we do have people working from home. Everybody should be back to work in our offices. I mean, why is one department working hybrid and one department?
Has a hybrid cost productivity, or is everything's getting done and it's
Doesn't
timely?
matter.
Has it increased?
We work in an office building.
Everything.
I'm more worried about getting the work done. I
We
don't
don't
care.
work from home. We're building a brand new building. People should be coming into work.
That's because people have to come in there and meet and go on, and there are things that have to happen, but if you can
That
create,
doesn't make any sense.
Well, perhaps we don't need a building as large then.
No, please don't twist what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that
No, I'm not twisting what you're saying, I'm just,
the space is absolutely necessary.
I'm not trying to say anything, I'm just saying productivity is up, that's good.
The number of virtual
It's working, it
sessions continue to decrease. And the trend is that they're going more and more to in-person sessions. We are meeting the demand because there are, as I said, the only time that we're doing virtual sessions is when it's clinically indicated and there's a reason for us to do those sessions. So we are meeting that demand, but that demand is slowly decreasing. So everyone absolutely has an office now, has space, comes in the building, is in the building the majority of the time. They might be remote one day a week, but it's not everyone in the building either. It's certain people that have a caseload that demands that. And then we would rotate them out because it actually helps with building flow right now too in our building as well. So there's absolutely a need for it, and it's going in the direction of decreasing those virtual sessions.
I don't mind the virtual session for the client.
Sure.
The clinician should be in the office. That's all I'm saying. There's the office space that's there. We're spending a lot of money for that office space. They should be in the office. That's all. Whatever the patient wants to do, that's up to them.
I agree.
Thank you, Pat.
Is there anything else to come before health services? Before we lose control?
Motion closed. Motion closed. Motion.
Are closed.
Madam, do you wish to be there?
No, me.
No, thank you.
We're facing the road.
Yeah. This layout is definitely not gonna work. Once we put up microphones.
Thank you, Tammy. I'd like to call County Resources to order at 6:17. Don't have any action items this evening, but we do have Jonathan Palmer here to give us an update on our 250th celebration. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Buelich. I'm standing up here in the hot seat now, hat in hand, because I have no substantive update on progress with 250th plan. The formation of the commission was accomplished. I've spoken to a number of the commissioners individually. Oh, I'm sorry. So the process to create the commission was accomplished. I've spoken to a number of the commissioners individually over the course of the summer and had a couple other people approach me separately who would like to be a part of the commission and involved with planning. But the majority of my summer is comprised of meeting with researchers, meeting with different history and heritage groups and coordinating, discussing what their individual plans are going to be going forward. And in addition to that, it's my understanding now that the county is also going to be the recipient of $15,000 allocated from New York State Education Department, which goes directly, I believe. I don't know, Sean.
I'm not aware of it.
Okay, so this is new. And this is the money that I've been talking about that's supposed to have been forthcoming from the state. It's nowhere near what I was hoping it would be because the state money that's been allocated that's going to the individual counties in New York State is being distributed based on an accounting of school populations, which actually I think is a totally appropriate metric by which to gauge allocation of state education funds. But those funds, the bare minimum is 15,000. It's supposed to be going to every county that has a commission seated. I don't know if the lack of a commission will end up precluding other people from getting it, but that money, to my understanding and what I've heard through NICED, is that it's unrestricted to be used for commemorative work related to the 250. So this news arrived to me just within this last week. So in light of that, and because I've been remiss calling a meeting of the commission, I think it's, time to fish or cut bait and have the meeting middle of October, get everybody on the same page and get them all talking about what their plans are and what people would like to see that money spent.
All right. So you wouldn't have a calendar of events that you'd like to see that occurred in 1776?
Well,
Each going through July 4th and then for the rest of the year also, whether they're battles or events, meetings that the founding fathers had or whatever.
so I guess this gets into the weeds about what and this is I work on your behalf, and if it's the belief of the legislature that I should be, interpreting interpretive themes, looking at national events, national subjects, I'm happy to lean into that. My concern, and I believe my objective, is to make people better understand what Greene County is and what its role in those moments were. So to that end, this year, we participated in, and I gave remarks at the presentation for the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Articles of Association in Coxsackie. And that was a really great, it was a kickoff event for a lot of the history community in Greene County, because that's the initiation of our 250th celebrations here. 1776 is not as significant a year in Greene as 1777, 1778. And 1783, because what you see happening is, you have the national backdrop of what's going on across the 13 colonies in 1776, which is, it's a story of brinksmanship on the part of the Continental Army, newly landed British forces, and a Continental Congress who's even uncertain about ultimately what the end objective is with national independence. But in Greene, you have a lot of people who end up kind of waiting in the wings. These are people who are very uncertain. They're forming their committees of safety throughout 1776. They form them in 75. And it's a story of preparing themselves for the worst. So it's the story of agricultural ventures being leveraged to supply newly standing armies and things like that. It's a story that plays out here in much more subtle ways. 1777, the best information I have right now is that Greene Point, right down at the end of the Embog, is the northern extent of the reach of Vaughan's expedition of the Hudson. So, yeah. No, and I mean, I can talk shop with you about it because you know where it is. But Greene Point down on the Embog is the northernmost extent of the reach of Vaughan's expedition up the Hudson in 1777, which is the pincer movement of Burgoyne's army. It's the coming down from Canada and Vaughan coming up the river to meet at Albany, and it's stymied by Burgoyne's defeat at Saratoga. And Vaughan reaches as far as John Livingston's home in Oak Hill, burns it down, and turns around. And, you know, the legend of the cannonball of the old Van Orden household is an allusion to those events. But what I'm getting at is that for next year, a lot of the presenters that I've been talking to, the people who are trying to plan some of these events, what they're looking at is ways to bend in the stories that the county possesses as their superlatives. So next year is the bicentennial of Cole's arrival, and the exhibition of his first paintings of the Catskills, which is, you know, a seismic event in the history of this county. And it's a really, really substantial thing that we can point to as a discrete, unique, superlative event that is a revolutionary thing, but it's not a revolution of arms, it's a revolution of thought in that sense. You know, so I'm going to be speaking on Friday on a radio spot with the director of the Thomas Cole House. You know, so I'm heading up to Albany for that. We're going to be talking about how that programming is happening. I've got a teacher's workshop in November where we're going to be looking at a lot of these themes and tying in the idea of what this revolutionary legacy of the community here at Catskill is and how it manifests at that 50-year mark as this transfiguring thing that changes the way the county conducts business for the rest of its history. Now, I'm waxing poetic here, but this is all to say that if you have interpretive guidance for me and you have objectives that you'd like to see me achieving that aren't related to those things, I'm at your discretion.
Back in 1976, I was 10 years old, and I can remember my parents brought me down to Catskill that summer. We came down a lot, and there were celebrations going on all over. And I got to tell you what, it was great. There was all kinds of stuff going on, and I know a lot of you weren't even alive yet, but it was great. And I'm hoping that in the 250 that it would be the same thing.
You know,
I mean, there's all kinds of events going on. And
there was a lot top down, and this is the best thing I can say to explain why these situations are different is there was a lot of top-down buy-in for the bicentennial. We were dealing with national initiatives and national funding that came right down to accomplish things like the bicentennial barge that made its trips up and down the river. You had a bunch of there was the commemorative bicentennial train and things like that. We haven't received notice in the history community that there's going to be anything like that to support and bolster the local initiatives. And
but the county can.
if the county, I mean, if we're ready to do that,
I mean, that's my point. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure back then there wasn't either. And there was, I mean, if you're gonna go 250, I mean, people gotta, I remember it as a kid. I want everybody else to look back and say, hey, the 250th year we did, it was great. I mean, there was a lot going
I think
on.
it's time we call a meeting of the commission that we had formed. I know we had talked about, you know, providing some funding for historical markers throughout the county of certain events.
yeah,
I mean, our county was named after Nathaniel Greene.
yeah.
I mean, that should be a huge part of our discussion.
I think that's like that idea that Matt's getting at too, that idea of us as a county identifying with a revolutionary legacy. That's what
Greene is
Greene is. Yeah, you know, I mean, yeah.
The residents of Greene County, Greene County wasn't established
No, but
at that time.
Yeah.
The people who lived here that went and fought in the Revolutionary War
and I think,
should be recognized, I mean, at a minimum. I mean, obviously, like you said, Greene County as a county may have not had a lot to do with actual Revolutionary War.
but we're the inheritors of the legacy of that.
Right.
And, you know, so I was at Jewett Heights Cemetery the other day getting some photos because there's like 3 or 4 graves there where when you walk into that cemetery, every single one of them, the epitaphs say a soldier of 76 or a soldier of the revolution. And that theme, you know, one of the things that I'm working on right now, I'm in the very early stages of a guide manuscript,
There's actually quite a bit that went on. I mean, you had the Tory Swamp up in the town of Hunter, where they were taking the prisoners from down on the Hudson, and they were trying to get them up to Canada. That was a stop they would go through. I mean, to say there was nothing going on
Well, it's
in
not.
our revolution isn't right.
Can I just interject real quick?
Yeah, please.
We're getting a little off topic on things.
Yeah.
So, what's planned? Is there anything planned yet?
Right
Are there
now-
parades being planned or thing like,
So-
what are we looking at? Or are we just like, hey, we're kind of like just floating along?
No, we are. I think that's the best way to categorize
We
it.
gotta fix that.
Yeah,
That's
and
gotta fix it.
That's why I think we need a meeting of that commission to find out what's happening in each of the towns, if there's anything happening. We kind of formulate.
But the thought was, how big can we make this? So the original thought was to celebrate the Declaration of Independence, so that our year-long event would actually end on July 4th, 26. Because the Revolutionary War is a whole other aspect of history that went on for 5 years, 4 years. So how far do we take it? How big is the committee? How much money do we have? How much can we do when you talk about events that may have transpired as far as the convention of the 1787?
well, no, you know, but what Mr. Legg just raised about like Tory Swamp and things like that. That's a hike for the Mountaintop Historical Society in 2028 right there. Cause you know, that's the year of the raids of Grant's troops. But this is what I'm getting at is like, I can wax poetic about these things and I can give the programs that I give. But as far as, you know, I'm not an event planner. I think is the best way to put it. I do not have that knack. I wish I did. But you know, I spend a lot of time reading books.
But the best thing to happen would be, I mean, like Carroll and Catskill are kind of the center of the county. To have a celebration down here, and you could have talks on what happened at Tory Swamp. You have talks on what happened all around. I mean, you could go as far up as Lake George. I mean, so much happened in our area but we should celebrate it here and have something, not just have nothing. Like I said, when I was a kid, I'll remember that, you know, till the day they throw dirt on me.
I don't want to imply that nothing's gonna happen because, you know, and that like Mr. Lennon can attest to the, you know, and Sherry, you can speak to the quality of the work Carroll Historical Society does. And Carroll Historical Society always has a fire lit because of Sylvia. You know, so, and the Greene County Historical Society has a plan. They have a full schedule that they're working on that they haven't adopted and ratified yet. But these things are in the works. So it's a matter of, you know, whether or not, how does the county integrate into those things that are being planned individually? Is there a buy-in that is that 15,000 like turned into a programs grant for these groups, or is it used for historic markers, or is it used to underwrite, you know, stuff surrounding a major commemorative single event? I can't make those decisions, and I don't feel right making the decisions in vacuum, but I also have been remiss not calling a meeting. But
Yeah, I think that's what we need.
yeah, so.
Clock's ticking.
Maybe we get a meeting together
Probably a
and
couple months away.
see what's
I know.
happening in the other, if any of the people in the towns are planning something, maybe we could go back to our towns and see if there's anything being planned in in our respective towns to celebrate the 250th. I know we got the pins, you know, as a recognition. You know, and maybe we do something like Daryl said, maybe down at the warehouse building, we do some type of ceremony commemorating the 250th anniversary.
I like the ideas of the plaques too.
You do like the ideas of the
Yeah,
flags?
just because, again, that's history forever.
Is that
know,
After
the
that,
Markers, the historical markers?
Yeah,
Like Lafayette.
yeah, like the Lafayette one or the blue and gold one. The reason I keep coming back to that is because I'm very, very concerned with making sure that there's a lasting
Yeah.
end product. Which is why, you know, I haven't been involved with like, you know, talks of a parade or things like that, because a parade happens and you get some pictures and that's the end of it. The 150th was the thing that kicked off the historic marker program in New York State. You know, the 150th is the thing that causes the first Greene County historian to be appointed. You know, and these were objectives, they were kind of soft goals, you know, producing writings, producing commemorative plaques and things like that. So I like that idea, but again, I guess the next step is calling the commission together. So,
It's a good idea.
yeah, so, but, you know, I appreciate everybody indulging my yammering on about this, but, you know, I'm here hat in hand with an apology that it hasn't, you know, been done yet. So, because I think that's on me as much as anything else. No, I hope so. I hope so.
All right, well, let's look forward and let's get this on the schedule.
All right, well, thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate everybody's time.
Thanks, sir.
Thank
you.
Anything else to come before county resources? Motion to close. Dorrington to close. Second. Second by Rivera. We are closed.
Thank you. I enjoyed in touch.
I'd like to call Public Safety Committee to order at 6:34. Start with Mr. Farrell.
Good evening, all.
Hello.
September's numbers first, EMS calls 545, fire calls 183, police calls 1,677, unknown 591, for a total calls of 2,996. Text to 911 calls this past month, 32. Total of inbound phone calls into the 911 was 3,311. Mutual aid, EMS was 30, fire 13. And we had one hazmat call in the town of Coxsackie. Tonight, we have one resolution, and that's in regard to appointing Carl Kiltz as the information liaison officer for Greene County. There is one officer in every county. Carl's responsibilities will be to put on a 2-hour awareness class in regard to going over terrorism and suspicious activity reports to those agencies. They'll be doing this mostly during the winter time and also attending battalion meetings, as we call them, to do his presentation. They'll have continued communication with the intelligence with the State Fusion Center, Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Service, and also the Office of Counterterrorism. Once a year, he'll be going to a conference. Most of the time, they're in the spring. And Carl he just completed a couple years back, 15 years with Emergency Service as a state fire instructor. He did a very nice job and a great leader. Next, I just want to go back in regard to 911 calls. We have been notified by the state police that effective October 23, they will not have anybody staffing the 911, their location. So effective that date, the 911 calls will come to our location. If we're busy at that time, all the lines tied up, it will go forward to the Catskill PD. And if that's filled and it has to roll over, we have it scheduled to roll over to Columbia County 911 Center. The state police is completely out as of the 23rd of October. So everything's all set and taken care of. So that's what's going to happen start the 23rd of October. Other topics. Next week I'll be going over and meeting with Ray Fox at over in Greenport to sit down and meet the new. There's 9 new firefighters that have joined for the BFO class.
I'm from Greene.
No, total of 9 in class. I was hoping there'd be more, but we have 4. What I have to report is 3 of the 4 aren't firefighters in any fire company. They are currently signing up in their own hometown to the nearest fire department. So that's a good sign. So next next Wednesday, we'll have a 2 or 3 hour meeting to sit down with the students and Columbia County Fire Coordinator will be there, and we'll be discussing working out with Craig throughout the school year. One thing we're also trying to do between Columbia and Greene on the 19th, Sunday the 19th of October, we're going to all the fire coordinators of Greene and Columbia. We're going to meet over in Columbia County. Together, we're going to try to put the fire training courses together for the entire year of 2026. And the reason for that is we have roughly about 24 classes being requested by our side. And I'm not sure what the number is over there, but we're trying to consolidate so we can share each other and be able to be available more frequent to the request of the fire districts. EMS coordinator, do you have anything? Yeah. Any questions?
Quick question.
Sure.
So has there been any consideration or discussion on consolidating 911 services within the county from other local departments that may be also handling 911? So it all falls under one system?
In Greene County, we're basically just one system.
Well, Catskill is still taking on.
You have other pieces, Catskill, one state police and ours.
Yeah. Well, the state police will be closing on the 23rd.
Right.
And then it would just be Catskill PD receiving our overflow. Once we, well, basically, we're the only full 911 center that we have in the county.
Or is the state police, I'm sorry.
Has there been any discussion about consolidating Catskill's 911? Everything goes to the county.
I know Danny had a meeting with Catskill
Right.
last month.
I think that's what you're getting at. So the next gen 911 standards came out in March or April. So they're the new PSAP standard. We met with Catskill PD because they don't meet the criteria to be the first line answering point for a 911 call any longer.
Dan, please explain landlines versus cell phone.
Well, so currently landline phones, so if it's a copper-based phone or a VoIP phone within the village of Catskill, is routed to Catskill PD. If it's a wireless call, it automatically routes to the county's main PSAP. Those are the old standards. The way the new standards are for the training, continuing education, staffing requirements, et cetera, made it clear that Catskill PD cannot be a first line answering point. We've been meeting we met with Catskill PD and they were going to be meeting with the village board just to work out the logistics of the change so that the county would be the first line answering point for landlines and cell phones. If it is still a police matter call within the village of Catskill, it would then still be one button transfer down, the same as we do now, down to Catskill PD for them to handle it. They would, however, remain as a secondary PSAP. This way, they can take the rollover calls. We have 4 dispatchers on, and they're all taking 4 911 calls. That 5th call may not get answered. After a 911 call rings, I believe it's 6 rings, it will roll to the next in line, which in this sequence is Catskill PD. They can handle 2, theoretically, 2 911 calls. That's the way the trunk system for the 911 system works. They can handle 2. If they can't answer, then the plan, it will go to Columbia County 911. And they can pick up call overflow. And Columbia County answers a lot of Greene County 911 calls by cell now, and same with Greene answers Columbia County calls. It depends on what tower you get. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes,
Has there been
that-
discussions? Yes, that's where we're at. That's where things are going.
Thank you for clarifying.
Didn't jump on that.
Yeah, your numbers on fire mutual aid. Are they inclusive of the automatic mutual aid calls?
Yeah.
That when people have agreement that automatically they get this company to come during the day, whatever, that includes those.
John, I have a question. I thought you mentioned you received 22 text calls.
Yes,
I don't remember you giving that stat previous updates. Is that a new capacity?
We didn't give it before.
we didn't get it just started coming out recently, but you got a copy right there?
Yeah, so I can just run through quick for the
Yeah,
year.
just for the year.
So we've been taking text and 911 calls, the way the report's generated, that data didn't come out before in the standalone number. Neil figured out a way to get the data out, so.
Okay.
So for January, we took 43, February 48, March 52, April 87, May 46, June 38, July 96, August 49, and September 32. So that's people texting 911 instead of calling.
Of those calls, how many of them are founded?
I don't have that data.
I'd just be curious as to how many are, you know, if they're legitimate one requests or, you know what I mean?
I have not heard any comments about false text to 911 calls.
Well, there should be a corresponding police report with those.
Well, there is that. I just don't have it here.
Yeah, no, I don't
Right.
expect that.
But normally, I would hear just anecdotal, oh, we've been getting, the same, text from the same number, but.
That'd be no different than a telephone call.
Just as a curiosity, what was our backup before Catskill became the secondary? Was it the state police?
Was
State police were second, and then Catskill PD was tertiary. And in this year, the data we looked at from January through the middle of July, there were a total of 29 rollover calls when our staff couldn't answer. 7 of them went to Catskill PD. So state police answered the others. And then Catskill PD had to answer, it was 7 times, in that tertiary role.
And then after that, it would go to Columbia County, you're saying?
So before then, under that old system, state police was second, Catskill PD third. It actually routed back to us on a 7-digit line as a fourth. Now, within the Verizon network of the 911 trunks, if we did not answer that 7-digit, then it actually ends up at a Verizon operator. It's never happened, but a 911 call by law has to be answered by someone, so there's always a route for it.
An operator then turns around and calls 911 again.
I'm just
Right.
concerned that
Yeah, they would just call back on the 7-digit lines.
all of the, any call from the county is now going into Catskill PD if we're not able to answer. Doesn't seem like they have an operation set up that really can handle that. Right.
But what they do, they transfer it. So I guess I'm not sure which aspect you were addressing there. If you call them right now from here versus.
Right, just if our lines are busy in the county, it goes to Catskill. And then if Catskill's busy, where does it go?
Columbia County.
Columbia County.
Which reroutes it to their 7.
Also, then, right, Columbia County can take it. They are building out, their CAD to CAD interface as well over the price, they'll take another 6 months. So they can actually start, and they could take a call. If you called, here, we're talking to Columbia County, they could enter into the computer there and it shows up on our screens in Carroll. We do that with Ulster right now. Columbia will have that capability relatively soon. So in any case where any of these counties get so inundated, another county can really pick up a lot of the workload.
We have that the other way around.
Yes, everything's reciprocal.
Which PSAPs does Columbia County have, do you know?
What's that?
Do they have more than one PSAP over there?
I don't know what their secondary is. They are broken up though, so, it's one PSAP, but you have your law enforcement side and then fire and EMS side. So it's just the way they staff. It goes in.
And I think they got something on State Street, it used to be the old building where they were. I think they have a setup on State Street as a backup.
And you do, those rollover calls, that really only happens when we, let's say you get a tractor trailer rolling over on the thruway in the middle of the day and, 15 people all dial 911 at the same time. That's when that happens. It's very rare that it's, just multiple different calls at the same time. It's usually the exact same call.
Dan, have you guys made any headway with the tower south of 32 in Saugerties?
We have not done anything more. We're looking at some potential alternative locations that would not need nearly as much infrastructure
Gotcha.
development. So we're running some analysis on that stuff right now.
What is that?
It's actually in Columbia County. Oh,
Tower would be in Columbia County?
correct. At Keel Equipment, there's a tower there.
Yeah.
Mid Hudson owns a tower there that we could network into that sees twilight. So we ran them. I mean, you can stand there and you can see the Twilight Tower. So we're working out all the details of that to see if that's going to be more viable.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Sheriff? Good evening. So, last month we had 198 civil attempts, served 134 civil papers, issued 206 traffic tickets, investigated 26 traffic accidents, made 67 arrests and 7 DWI arrests. We handled 569 calls for service and made 403 traffic stops. On September 1st, the starting jail population was 44. As of September 30th, it was also 44. The high for the month, though, being 53, which is the highest it's been since we opened. Creeping up. We have no state-ready inmates in our custody. A couple things. Additionally, we had one of our Marine units at the Sleepy Hollow Lake Triathlon this month, where we ended up saving a participant who had an asthma attack during the swimming portion of the race. Pretty good that we had somebody there. There were also 2 other people there that were saved by the security people around the lake. Our impacted citizens and lead program is currently engaged with 86 people in need of services. So our community wellness director is quite busy. One additional case that was interesting was we responded to a domestic dispute where one of the parties brandished a handgun. The subject was disarmed, and during further investigation, it was determined that one of the parties was a convicted felon and there were other weapons in the home. As a result, we recovered 3 illegal handguns, an AR-15, a 3D printed lower AR-15, a shotgun, and 6 high-capacity magazines, all and a lot of ammunition as well. Lastly, as a result of our drug work in conjunction with the District Attorney Stanzione's office, 2 subjects were indicted last month and arrested for multiple narcotic sales in Cairo and Catskill. And we also have several active investigations going on in other towns of the county. We'll have for that.
So for your calls of service, are you having to answer any calls in Catskill? In the village?
In the village? Depends on where, how the call comes in. If it comes directly to us, we will sometimes answer it. If it's something that's, yeah, basically, if we get it, we'll respond, as do the state police.
Is that due to a shortage of manpower or like, why is that happening?
I don't know whether that's due to I don't know, but we are getting calls.
Is
I
that
have to
coming,
dive into it a little bit to see
is that
why.
coming directly to your office or is that from going to 911?
I'd have to get together with them to see how this, I don't know how they get, whether they're coming in through our 7-digit or 911, I'm not sure. There may be an overflow due to they are definitely low on patrol, I can tell you that.
I only bring it because I'm getting a lot of questions about an increased presence between the state police and the sheriff's office in the village. So that's why I just wanted to.
Yeah, we're answering some calls in the village, which is up from what it used to be.
Well, I know.
And so are the state police.
Thank you.
And we are, by the way, speaking to that desk closing out there, we've seen a large increase in walk-ins at our front desk too, which we didn't really expect to happen out there, but all day long, people are walking in that door, so, I'm gonna have to address that at some point as well. No. Thank you.
Sure. Moving into proposed action items. Appointing Carl Schultz, Information Liaison Officer, Greene County Emergency Services.
Handle.
Sorry, Handle and
Martin.
Lance Handle. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's carried. Anything else to bring before public safety?
I would like just discussion of the email that the sheriff sent us earlier. That was something that I brought up yesterday at the workshop meeting about maybe potentially adding in ambulances that way. So I would definitely like to go visit, if we could, that county to at least see how it's run and see what it costs them.
Sounds like a great idea to me. He's sending that email.
So I would definitely.
You wanna send me some dates, I'll make the contact.
Seems to make sense. Natural.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I think this was sent to everyone, but I know at least 3 of us didn't get it. And I was included, Jim sent it to me, but apparently the town supervisors have sent us all an email. 11 of the 14 supervisors that are requesting that we take a vote on that county ambulance service. So take a look at your email. Came in today, and I just got it when I got here. I had to have Jim forward it because I didn't get it. Sean didn't get it. Tom Holbrook got it from his supervisor, not from Sean Mahoney.
Just to go what now?
I didn't get any.
No. Not an agenda, so there's not much to do with it, but take a look, because I'm not sure why. I didn't get it, or Sean didn't get it.
I didn't get it.
I didn't get
Looks
one.
like
I
it's
didn't
the
get
right
one.
emails, but it's our email blocking.
Yeah, you may want to
Oh, you did?
check your spam. Hey, John.
Because if Tom's supervisor hadn't sent it to him, or I'm not sure how you got Sean's, but we might not even know that it's sent.
I've been in the band meeting.
Do you know there?
Yeah.
I didn't either.
I got it.
I don't have it at all. So, just be aware of that out there, so we'll take a look at it.
You wanna forward to the rest of us?
I'll see if I can.
I didn't get it.
The only problem I've had sometimes with forward attachments don't go through.
Nope, nothing here.
Yeah.
What time is it sent?
Like
Is that
2 o'clock this
checked?
afternoon.
What time?
2 o'clock this afternoon.
No, I didn't get it either. No.
So we get it all sent to us then?
Everybody at 2 o'clock.
Have the office send it out to everybody? Please?
If I can get it up, I'll get it up.
Okay, thanks.
I can call Sean on the way home, make sure they send it to you and Pat again.
Check the email address.
Well, send it right to Tammy. Yep. One of the easiest things, she can put it right in a record. So. go ahead.
Here's the best we go with.
Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Need a second?
Second.